Hey guys, welcome to another live streaming here with Rose. I'm from Encoder Fashion, and today we are going to continue a session from last week. So as you can see right here, now we have light clothes 3D, and the projects here going to be fairies dresses. As you can see right now, I have 5 dresses. Okay, first of all, I only have 2 back dresses and 3 front dresses. However, the total dress are going to be 5. So if we look at over here, we have this backless dress, nothing but sequins. And also back here, we have this sequin right here on the side as well as right here onto the side seam. And we have variation of dress hem here. However though, the necks and the armhole we have pretty much sleeveless and the beautiful neck depth for the front and almost like backless except we have sequences. Okay, so this is going to be a project continue from last week. Okay, so now I'm going to minimize this window and I'm going to point out a couple of things here before we start. So for those you guys who are actually new to my channel, I have a membership where you can join and learn everything that I list right here for member only, and you don't have to have ad play, as well as you have full courses about from basic making pattern to advanced making pattern. And once again, I will continue to post more video and courses. Another courses right here only available to member. And guys, when you signed up, so we have 3 level here. $4.99 where you can get all the pattern courses from beginner to advanced, and it's just a way to support Encoder Fashion to continue publish more video and focusing on fashion using clothes 3D to create. Okay, and if those who actually just starting out and you kind of new to the pattern making process and you just want to practice sewing, I have a store, it's Etsy store, where you can purchase pattern that I made and you can purchase them and then practice sewing them, because I have DXF pattern mainly designed for clothes 3D. Okay, and for other software like Marvel Designer, I have to create a projects file, which in this case most of my pattern are in DXF and garments file. Okay, so if you want to use in Marvel Designer, you have to request for a projects file. But for the most part, all these files are okay to use in clothes 3D. Okay, and you can purchase them. Some of them are really reasonable price because skill with pattern making, and I use clothes to create pattern, which I can actually create many pattern and in a short period of time, and I will sell them in really reasonable price for those who just starting out, as well as are you a student or you are fashion designer who actually want to start an online business like selling pattern or even a PDF sewing pattern. You can actually use this pattern as a template and then create your own design. Okay, as long as you modify this pattern to something that your design have in mind, you are okay to use. Okay, and I also have a couple of requests from you guys about creating courses about measurement. Okay, so guys, I will promise to get back and then create more courses about measurement, because measurement is important when it comes to making clothes. For example, certain clothes, like say this dress right here, you have certain way of measurement compared to loose fitted shirt or loose fitted garment in general. So it is important to take the measurement correctly before you can make this perfect dress. Okay, and first of all, let's get back to clothes, and I'm going to explain or continue explaining about making pattern uses a traditional drafting pattern method versus sketching and close 3D. And once again, if you guys have been following me for a while, you notice that I'm more mainly focusing on pattern making using close 3D, and my skill here making woman clothing pattern. Alright, so first of all, let me bring in the folder that we're going to use today. So, and by the way guys, this is a beginner course, so I'm going to explain everything from linking the folder into CLO, as well as anything that I do will explain in detail. And if you guys interested in the advanced course, go to my channel Encoder Fashion, and you can look it up advanced course, and you will see more kind of focusing on advanced course and get to the point. In this case, it's light and it's beginning courses for close 3D. So if you guys have any question, leave a comment below the video. I will promise to get back to you. All right, so first of all, let's get the garment that we worked on last week and bring it in. And I'm going to come over here to the library tab here and click on the plus sign, and we will link the folder. So we will select any folder that we want to link into the library. In this case, so today is live June 17, so I'm going to select that folder which I created earlier for you, and I'm going to click on open here, and now the folder appear right here under this favorite, which is really useful. You can double click on that, and now you can see right here this is. So first of all guys, it is super amazing. I can't wait to share with you guys later on about AI generator. In fact, let me show you a little bit about that, because I have let's open new tab here. I'm going to come over here to picture, and I'm going to show you how amazing it is for AI generator image. So right here guys, these are dresses created with Adobe Illustrator. Of course, this is image, okay? It's not a pattern, but you can use these images as a reference in close 3D to create the beautiful dresses. Let's say for example, this kind of dress is flowy, almost like a pleated, and it's beautiful. You can use it as your reference in close 3D to create amazing dresses. All these garment here, I use Adobe Creative Cloud or Adobe to generate these images, okay? They can generate beautiful images that you can use it for reference. So today I'm going to show you how to use this neckline right here, for this right here, as a reference for the dress, because last week I was creating the neckline and I have difficulties to achieve the neckline that I want. So today I'm going to bring this image in, and I'm going to use it as a reference, and we're going to continue. These are amazing guys. I create this in pretty much Adobe Creative Cloud. If you guys are new to Adobe, it's Adobe Creative Suite. It's like, you know, quite expensive, but if you're a student, you get half off. And if you have any question about that, let me know. If you already have Adobe Creative Suite plans, you can have these images created with just a few clicks, guys. It's so awesome. So right there, those are the images that I create. Once again, they're images, they're not dress, they're not pattern. When you have these kind of images, you can use it for references, like this one for example. I think you can actually accomplish this dress right here, okay? And like the neckline, the sweetheart neckline with the sleeveless dress is actually pretty awesome right there. And you have more here. I'm not too sure, because once again, when you ask AI to create dresses and they just throw it at you, maybe this one all on guard, you probably need to create some molding to create this kind of cup foldy, but in clothes probably possible. But certain dresses you can use it as a reference, and some it's for like all on guard dresses. Okay, so it's amazing right there. All those dresses I create them or illustrate them in Adobe. Pretty much I asked Adobe to illustrate it for me. I did not illustrate this dress. So as you can see right there, look, that's just pretty awesome. Alright, so now let's get back to CLO, and oh, this one is pretty cute right here. I love it. Super cool. Alright, and once again guys, welcome to AI world. Right now it's only getting better. So right here, all these images I created in Adobe, which I just type in and you can create all these images. Alright, so now I'm going to close this and let's come back to CLO. And I already have this dress right here, began it last week, so I'm going to double click on it to load onto the workspace here. So it actually pretty amazing when we understand the reality garment versus, let's say, digital garment. So once again, back to what I was saying earlier, this dress right here, I'm going to use this jumpsuit neck reference to create this beautiful neck, because earlier I create this neck but I don't like it. I like the neck looks like this, so I'm going to use this as a reference. Alright, to do so, first of all, let me fix some issue here. Okay, so what happened last week when I create this dress, I'm supposed to cut this part off only for the front part and not the back part, but because the pattern linked together, I cut both. So now I'm going to merge these pieces back for the back pattern and then leave the front unmerged. So what I'm gonna do here, click on the dress, and guys, if you guys get lost here, referring to the last week about making these fairy dresses. Okay, so I'm going to click on this pattern here, right click, and then select remove link editing. Okay, and then I'm going to merge this piece together, and to merge this pattern I will use the edit pattern tool. Click one on this piece right here, press on shift, click one right here, right click, and I'm going to select merge. Alright, so now this is right here my back pattern, and I'm going to actually remove this because I do not need this, and I'm going to leave that one there. Alright, so at the same time I'm going to convert this here. So first of all, I'm going to begin by first of all, let me remove this piece. I'm going to start it from beginning here. So let's make a copy here, symmetric pattern with sewing, and press on shift, and I'm going to place it right here, and I'm going to remove this for now. Alright, so I also want to remove this line here because I don't need it at the moment, and I'm going to convert this to a baseline because I want to use that as a reference line. Okay, and let's lock that. Alright, so I lock this baseline. Let's also lock that as well. Choose me, convert that to baseline first and then lock it. Next, I'm going to use this as a reference. To do so, first, let me create one more fabric here. I'm going to click on the fabric and then I can either select copy or click one here to create, and I'm going to name this reference. Okay, and I want to create a box here. Okay, let's use this rectangle tool here, and then I'm going to click one right here, and 50 by 50 centimeter is perfect. After that, I'm going to simply click this image here, drag and drop onto that. And by default, I have this texture box I check. I'm going to click on OK to confirm. And I'm going to zoom in here, and I want to scale this image to a little bit bigger. Only the image though. To scale only the image, I will use the texture tool here, and then click one right there on the center and use this gizmo, drag it out. So I'm going to bring it down here because I want to grab just the next part. Okay, just like that, and here you go. All right, so next I'm going to use the tool here we call internal polygon slash line tool, and I'm going to zoom in and then click one right here, click right here and drag. So when you click and drag, you create this curve. Okay, so click and then drag. We want to pretty much trace this, not really trace though guys, it's more like drawing on this line. So this is the advantage when it's come to technology. We can trace this quite easily without wasting a lot of paper or fabric, because we can do this over and over without have to worry about. Excuse me, I'm going to click and then drag it down here, then come down here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit further, and I want to click twice here to end the line. Okay, so right now my first drawing, the line looking pretty good. So I'm happy with this line. I will switch the tool here to the transform pattern tool, and then I'm going to right click on that line, and then I want to select copy and come down here. I'm going to zoom in here, right click on this pattern here, and then select paste. Okay, and now we are going to click one right here on this pattern, and I'm going to rotate it. Simply hover the mouse on top of that top part right there, and then you see the circle arrow appear. Click and then drag to the right, and I'm going to simply continue dragging right here, and now let's move it. Excuse me, see, when I mistakenly click on the pattern, I not only move the internal line that I want, I move the entire pattern. I don't want that. I just want to remove just the internal line. So I'm going to click one on the page here, and then click on just the internal line right there, and I'm going to move it. So right here now it is touched the neckline that I wanted, and right here it doesn't. So what I'm gonna do here, I need to rotate a little bit more. Okay, and so by the way guys, this is a sketching method. Okay, so I'm pretty much sketching this dress. However though, you not only have the drawing by the end of this course, but you also have the pattern. But the question is, can you really use that pattern to create garment? And the answer is yes, you can. However though, you want to test the pattern before you're going to create it, because for me, I've been drafting pattern for a while. I can simply eyeball it to create the pattern, but I still have to test the pattern if the pattern fitted well onto the woman figure. For example, if I measure my body and then draft the pattern, I have to create pattern in CLO, print it out, and then create a sample. Then I'm going to test it out. Alright, so next let's bring this a little bit further, and Now it is looking pretty good. Let me bring a little bit further. We want to touch that. And let's see, I'm happy with the neckline here. Now I'm going to my key, select just this point here, right click, and then select extend / trim to pattern outline. I will do the same right here. Alright, so as you can see right here, now we create this perfect curve for the neckline. Alright, so right now I'm done with these images. I can either delete it. How about let's just delete it because we don't need it. Simply delete it, and now I'm good. Alright, so next we're going to turn one of these patterns to the back pattern. I'm going to click on that pattern, right click, and then select symmetric pattern with sewing, then press on shift here, and then click one right here to place the pattern. After that, I'm going to click on this pattern, right click, and then select remove link editing. Okay, now I'm going to adjust this. Okay, so first of all, let's click on the center line here, right click, and then select offset as internal line, and we want to create two internal lines. Okay, individual, and then the first line going to be 1 centimeter, press on the tab key. The second line going to be 1.25, and then I'm going to click on OK. Next, I'm going to, okay, so I simply make a mistake here. I'm going to delete this and this because my internal line is incorrect. So if I look at right here, I want to select from selected line, not previous line. So right now I have two internal line. The first line is 1 centimeter, the second line is 1.25 centimeter, and now it looks about right because I want to select the distance here, individual, and select it from here, selected line, which is from this line right here. Okay, after that I'm going to click on OK. Alright, next we are going to create this perfect line right here. I'm going to use this internal polygon # sign tool, click on this point right here, and then click one on this point, click twice to end, and I'm going to cut this part. Okay, simply use the edit pattern tool here and hover the mouse over that line right there, right click, and then select cut. Alright, after that I'm going to remove this because we don't need this pattern anymore, and right here let's simply adjust a little bit here. I'm going to use this edit curvature tool. By the way, guys, you can select this edit curvature tool up here, and I'm going to simply click, and then we want to bring the front armhole to a little bit further compared to the back armhole. Okay, and I'm going to remove this line here, we don't need it. After that, we want to measure this shoulder length. So the shoulder here, let's say the back side here, 6.09, and we are going to match with the front. So 6.09, and over here, if we look at right here, we have 6.41. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to match them together. Okay, so simply click one on there, and then click one right here, and right click. I'm going to select match step here. Let's go from the center. So as you look at right here, I have the center together, and I'm going to simply kind of adjust this. I like this pattern to have this balance, which is the neck should kind of touch to the next part. However though, you can also create it from the center like this is fine. All you need to do here, adjust this big part here, kind of drag it in a little, and then it snap right to the point, just like that. Okay, and then see what else we can do. So right here we can adjust this kind of out just a little bit here, and the next, let's see, I kind of like the next part. It seems okay, as well as right here for the front. Alright, So next I'm going to simply rotate the back. And we want it here to flat on the ground there, almost there. It is important to organize your pattern correctly so it's not only prettier but also less confusing. Especially when you're first starting out, I would recommend organize your pattern correctly so you don't get confused. Alright, so now I'm going to simply cut this because we want to, okay, first of all let me show you the image once again. This is what we want to achieve. So right here, this is what we want to achieve. So if we look at the front here, we have the beautiful neck depth down over here. And to have this neck balance without collapsing, you have to convert this into transparent, this part right here, or it won't work, okay? However, though, that's the part that it gets a little confusing if you don't understand the reality versus 3D world. So in reality, if we have no fabric here, we shouldn't have any fabric at all, not have transparent fabric. However, though, when we want to place the dress onto the PDF template for printing, we do not need any extra fabric here at all. So let me go show you in close 3D what I meant. So right here, in CLO, we need this fabric right here to stabilize the garment, okay? But in the real world, we don't, because here we have the stabilization, just this piece of the dress itself. So right now, I'm going to, let's come over here and then click on this pattern here. So, first of all, guys, so look at my avatar here. So you have this body which isn't a realistic body type because I changed her waist to 50 centimeter here. So if you look at last week, you will see the video. First thing I did was change the avatar to this unrealistic avatar because we want to create this fairy dress. It looks more like cartoonish. That's why this waist is super slim and it's not realistic, okay? Alright, so now let's get back here to what we want to do. So here, I'm going to cut this part, okay? Before I'm going to cut that though, I want to place this onto the avatar and then sew them first because it's easier and more efficient. Alright, so I'm going to place them onto the avatar by going to the show arrangement point here, click on it, and then click on the front dress, hover the mouse over the avatar, anywhere that kind of appropriate-ish, click one right there, and then you can adjust a little too, and then go to the back avatar and then click on this back pattern and then click one right here and then kind of drag it down a little, just like that. And now I'm going to sew this pattern together. I will use this free sewing tool here, click and then sew down here, and over here I can still use the free sewing tool, or I can use this segment sewing tool. So guys, segment sewing tool is the most useful when you have one segment to one segment. For example, right here I only have one segment, so to this segment it's much easier. Right here I have 3 segments, so for it to be useful I have to use the free sewing tool, so then I don't have to like go one segment by one segment, okay? Alright, so now I'm going to make a copy of this dress. Simply click on this pattern, choose me transform pattern tool, my key selects both of these pattern pieces, and right click, select symmetric pattern with sewing. And I'm going to, let's see, I finally get this back. Just like that. Alright. So this is the back pattern and this is the front pattern. However though, let me label this pattern a little so we won't forget. And we want to use the pattern annotation, and we want to just type in pretty much front. And okay, so front, and then I'm going to type in here front left. And to check if I'm correct, I'm going to simply click one on the annotation tool here to get out, and I'm going to click one right here. So right here, this is the left side. It looks like the right side, but it's not really. If I rotate the avatar, let's say to the front, right there, that's the left side, and that's what we want, okay? So right here, this is the left side, and right now I have front left, and that's what we want, and here going to be back left, okay? And then click anywhere one on the page to get out of that tool there, and then click one again. Here gonna be back right, and then click anywhere one to get out that tool, and here going to be front right. And once again, click on anywhere. Alright, so now I have my pattern label, and I can organize it a little bit better, but right now all I want is to know which pattern is backward. So what happened, the more pattern pieces you work with, the more you have to label it constantly so you don't get confused, okay? It's less work and give you the free mind that you can move on to the next pieces without having to worry about it. Alright, so right now I have front left, front right, and so on. Okay, next we want to sew the center together. Okay, it's another realistic or non-realistic thing, okay? So realistic pattern, we want to merge the front together, and then the back right here, we're going to apply the zipper, or vice versa. But mostly we have zipper either on the back dress or on the side dress, that realistically in the real world, okay? With this 3D dress, we do not need any zipper. We just sew them all shut together. As long as they fit onto the avatar, we're good as gold, okay? So that's the realistic version, was not realistic. So guys, why I'm explaining to this, because when I first starting out, I'm so confused because I saw many, designer did this, the other designer did that. I wasn't understand the CLO world when I first starting out. I do know the reality, what is supposed to be. Let's say I mentioned earlier, the zipper, most common zipper for the dress is in the back and is on the side. Most common are on the back, okay? So here we're gonna just sew it shut, just for the fitting purpose, okay? Now I'm going to use this segment sewing tool, guys. It's super useful when you only have one segment. Simply click and then click. Be sure the sewing direction are parallel with one another, and then you're good to go. And right here, the same right here, okay? Just like that. All right, so now I'm going to strengthen the dress pattern here. So let's select this transform pattern tool. My case selects all the pattern pieces, right click, and then strengthen. Next, I'm going to simulate. Select the spacebar here to simulate. So I'm going to expand this a little bit. So there you go. And let's stop the simulation. All right, so we have a little bit issue here. Right here, my armhole a little bit too big. However though, I won't adjust it because right here it's just for the sketching. But for reality, we want this armhole to be a little bit smaller, okay? All right, so next, this is quite exciting. I'm going to unstrengthen first. All right, and then let simulate one more time and stop the simulation. So actually the dress fit really well, except that I'm holding a little bit too big. Once again, another thing that we want to do here, we're going to remove the garment here. So if I go into the avatar and click on the avatar right there, I can remove the undergarment here to nude. Okay, just like that, and then click on OK. So now it looks better, but still, yeah. All right, so next we're going to create the next here, guys. It's quite exciting. So I'm going to use this transform pattern tool. Okay, first of all, let's apply the fabric first. I used this fabric before, I believe it was not. Let's try it. I like to use this knit fabric. It's just for the fitting purposes. Cotton floss. So let's drag and drop onto the fabric and then simulate. See if they fit well. It's not bad. Although I might like a different one. So let's see. Let's try fleece. So actually this is actually fit better with this fabric. So I'm going to stick with that for now. Alright, so next I'm going to change the color of the fabrics, change it to pink, so then we have the pink one. Now I'm going to come down here and then change that to pink. Let's see, kind of light pinkish, and then click on apply and close, and then I'm going to stop the simulation here. Alright, so be sure to turn on this high quality rendering before we're going to come over here and then click on that fabric. I'm going to make it look shiny. Okay, so come down here to, so by the way guys, when it comes to creating any pattern or sketching or brainstorming in Close 3D, we have limitless. So just have fun and explore many tools that we have here in Close 3D. So let's say for example I want to change this fabric into like shiny. Let's click on that fabric there. Okay, and come down here, we want to select, we want to change the fabric here from matte to, let's silk satin. So that's the one I used earlier to turn this into like a shiny looking dress. And let's strengthen, and then, so by the way guys, this is just a concept. Okay, I'm pretty much using this Close 3D right now to sketch out my concept. So right there, okay, this is going to be fun guys. We are going to, first of all, let's save a little bit. I'm going to press on command or control plus letter S here to save. Always save your project guys. Okay, so next I'm going to come in here and then use the transform pattern tool. We're going to cut this part right here. So click one on the internal line right there and come over here, press on shift, click one right here and right click, and we're going to select cut and sew. Okay, all right, so after we select cut and sew here, we're going to come over here and then click on that fabric. I'm going to change the name here to, let's see, bodice. Press return, enter on the keyboard, and then click on here a copy button to copy, and I'm going to name this let's trim. Fine, name trims. Okay, so as long as it's the bodice. Okay, next I'm going to apply the fabric onto trim right here. So click, drag and drop, and right here. And what happened if I come over here and then come down here, and I'm going to change that to change the transparency to 0. Okay, so opacity here, change that to 0. So if you look at right here, right now I have one side is pretty much sees through the skin and one side isn't. So first of all guys, this is could be one of the design. Okay, it's actually quite amazing. And what happened if I simulate right now, see right here the garment stable, it's not like anything. Let's say if I right now create a garment without the transparency fabric, now the garment will be unstable. Okay, so let me see if I'm going to apply some sort of elastic here around the armhole to give it a little bit fitted better. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to click on right here, press on shift and then click right here, and then come over here. Oh, by the way guys, I only need to apply one side of the garment because they're linked, and it will affect both. Okay, so let's come over here and then we want to click on this elastic, and we want to change the strength here to 5, and then press on the tab key. We want to change the strength here to 90. Let's say 95, and then press on the tab key, and then let's simulate first. Okay, much better, and I kind of like 5 and 95, so it's better. So if you look at right here now, just a double check. So if we look at both of these elastic right here, okay, first of all I did not apply the elastic the entire up here because I have the point here. So what happened, I need to go in and then either remove the point or apply elastic right here. So let's say I'm going to apply elastic up here. So instead of convert to curve point, I will apply elastic up here as well. So turn on the elastic and then change here the strength to 5, press on the tab key, and then ratio to 95, and then press on the tab key, and I'm going to simulate again. Alright, so now it's fixed. So we have this perfect armhole for the dress as well as the neck. Alright, so right now I'm going to also apply the fabric onto these sides as well, because that's what the dress is. Okay, so this is a dress neck, is come down here until her waist here. So I'm going to continue doing it. Also the back side here, we want to create another curve right here. Okay, so right now I'm going to minimize this and let's create this. And simulate again, and there you go. So actually right here we create this perfect neckline for the avatar. And by the way guys, I already removed the undergarment, so now she's okay with the dress. Alright, so next we want to create this back side here. The back side, as you can see earlier, let me go back to the image. We want to create this curve right here. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky because we want to create the curve here, but we have this dot. Although it's okay, I'm going to simply use this internal polygon shadow line tool here, and let's start here, click 1, and then come over here, click twice the end. Okay, so let it sink a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to use this edit curvature tool here. Let's click and drag it to create this perfect curve. So if I look at closely here, we're going to have a little bit trouble here because this curve is not even right here for this dot. However though, I'm going to simply cut and sew first. Okay, let's press on number 8 here to see the back side of the dress. Alright, I'm going to simply click right here. First of all, let Command or Control plus letter S to save. So if the computer crashed by any means, we still have this part. Alright, so now I'm going to use this either edit pattern tool or this transform pattern tool. Then simply click on that line right there, right click, and we want to select cut and sew. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to simulate here and to see the effects. Okay. So right now, if I apply the, let's change the color of this trim here because it would be easier for me to spot it even though. So right there, I'm going to simply drag and drop that onto here, and I'm going to simulate one more time. Okay, so if you look at right here, we have an issue here. We want this line right here to have this correct measurement. See right there? I'm going to click right here on this spot, and if I look at right here, I have this blue line just about right there. I'm going to add a point there. Okay, simply click on this add point / split line here, and then click one right there to place the point. Alright, so now I'm going to adjust this line right here. Okay, to adjust that line, let's try this, see it work. Let's see if I want to delete that point, and let's kind of create this curve a little and see if it's fixed the problem. Alright, so now we're going to adjust the sewing here because we not only need to adjust the sewing, but we also need to adjust this line right here because over here we want to see how much. So right there 12.39 and right here 14, so we're going to kind of bring this down just a little bit. Okay, and let's simulate again. Alright, so I'm going to stop this and have a look a little bit better. Let's see what we can do. So right here, I'm going to remove this sewing and then bring this sewing down and then bring this sewing up. Now let's simulate again. So it looks better. Alright, so stop the simulation, and in this case I'm going to strengthen the pattern here, and press on number 8 so we can see the back side of the dress. Okay, and then stop. Alright, so there you go guys. So this is the backless dress. However though, we supposed to apply the sequences right here. Okay, so I'm going to simply bring her up a little and let's look at the dress here. So if we look at the dress here, we want to apply sequences right here, and right here, as well as the edge here. So first of all, this is the first dress, and I'm going to change and modify this dress hem here to have total of 5 dresses. Alright, so right now it is about time guide, and I will continue this for next week live streaming, and I hope you guys have a beautiful evening. And if you guys have any question, please leave a comment below the video. I would love to hear it. And see you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye for now.